You have
Thank
the call.
Thank you. Australian lives are getting more expensive every day because of net zero rorts. Power bills keep going up. The national debt keeps going up because Australian taxpayers, renters, pensioners, small businesses and anyone who turns on a light is paying for rorts. I use this opportunity to detail just one of these rorts. Not illegal, yet completely unethical, occurring under the Capacity Investment Scheme. The Capacity Investment Scheme is a wind and solar slush fund that Minister Chris Bowen personally administers. I'm going to quote energy expert Aidan Morrison extensively, and we thank him for all of his contributions to the energy debate in this country. This is the story of how a fund under former Labor Prime Minister Julia Gillard, as chair, acquired a wind turbine project just 6 days before Labor Energy Minister Chris Bowen underwrote its future revenues with taxpayer money. Yesterday we learned Julia Gillard's fund is now trying to flip it for a profit. HMC Capital's Energy Transition Fund rushed to acquire the Neoen Victoria portfolio. They hadn't even raised any money in their fund. They closed with almost $1 billion of borrowed money and IOUs. Less than a week later, Minister Chris Bowen announced Kentbrook Wind Farm to be successful in the first round of the Capacity Investment Scheme. Rough calculations suggest they will receive something like $1 billion from taxpayers and maybe much more over just 15 years. Sweet deal. $1 billion for fancy financial money, monopoly money in 1 week. $1 billion of promised taxpayer dollars the next. Unlike the UK, which publishes a going rate for technology subsidies, our renewables and reliables are subsidised through a secret tender process under the Capacity Investment Scheme. Every project gets to ask for whatever revenue they want to proceed. AEMO, the Australian Energy Market Operator, facilitates a secret beauty pageant where it awards points for things like Indigenous participation or community engagement alongside financial value. Who makes the final call? Chris Bowen. The bids remain secret. There's no cap to the payouts. Since AEMO is a private company, there's no scope for an FOI Freedom of Information request, and AEMO aren't subject to parliamentary oversight through Senate estimates. Based on the public information, no one can even prove an allegation that Minister Bowen has bestowed special favour on a friend's project, if that is what he did. Equally, he can never prove that he selected strictly according to merit. We are just expected to trust the black box of Minister Bowen's subsidies. Originally, it always appeared that the Department of Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Water would administer the Capacity Investment Scheme. Minister Bowen, though, is determined they don't administer it. In fact, he went so far as to change the National Electricity Law to make it possible for AEMO services to do it, making an interim request to AEMO. He could have just used the department, except that would make the process more transparent and accountable to Parliament. He's basically cutting corners to cut out any chance of oversight. Every dollar of profit in the so-called solar and wind industry is really a cheque that a politician signs. And Minister Chris Bowen is signing all the biggest cheques worth untold billions in the next 3 years. It's all legal, it's all official, and it's obscene. The most concerning part of the Capacity Investment Scheme is that we have no idea how big it is. Right now, tens of billions of dollars may be getting handed out on lock-in contracts lasting the next 15 years. Labor created the Capacity Investment Scheme in 2023 and has since proven extremely popular with solar and wind developers. I wonder why. Now Minister Bowen wants to expand the program 15% to 40 gigawatts. How many billions of dollars will this all cost taxpayers? We will likely never know. How much are overseas foreign companies ripping out of Australian taxpayer pockets under the Capacity Investment Scheme? We will never know. With this level of secrecy, rorts are almost guaranteed. And for what? The biased, discredited CSIRO GenCost report on the cost of electricity was released just this week. You only have to skim the Centre for Independent Studies energy publications to understand how. Yet even CSIRO had to admit the lower estimate for coal-fired power is cheaper than wind and solar. After their fraudulent GenCost report, now they admit it. That's despite a secret model the CSIRO refuses to release to the public and a number of assumptions purpose designed to make coal look worse than reality. Fraud. Fundamentally, Australians have been lied to repeatedly from government agencies. Ditch the economic nonsense from net zero, ditch the net zero nonsense, in fact, end the corruption, put Australians first.
Thank you.